What's the state of your website? If you're looking for a new digital experience platform or DXP to run your digital experiences, I have the book for you. The Agile Brand Guide to Digital Experience Platforms is part of my best-selling series of MarTech books. In this book, I explore and demystify DXPs and look at the roles a digital experience platform should play, the different types on the market, as well as how to initially evaluate platforms, then how to best implement a DXP once you've selected it. The book also features a foreword from Rupali Jain, Chief Product Officer at leading DXP provider Optimizely, as well as several other thought leaders in the industry. Learn more and get a copy in print or digital now by going to the Agile Brand Guide website at www.agilebrandguide.com.
Hi, this is Greg. Look for my book, The Agile Brand, on Amazon or on my website at theagile.world. Welcome back to The Agile World. This is Greg Kihlstrom. Today I'm going to talk about cutting through the clutter. How in a world where there's so many choices, so many options for customers, how do Agile brands stand out? There's a quote that I often use from Steve Jobs that says the following: "To me, marketing is about values. This is a very complicated world. It's a very noisy world. And we're not going to get the chance to get people to remember much about us. No company is. So we have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us." So this is certainly a quote about focus. It's a quote about having substance, a lot of things that I've talked about earlier in this podcast. But it also talks about how in this world of near infinite choice, where customers have more and more power because they have more options, they have more agency to be able to explore and choose. They can buy from companies and around the world at the click of a button. How does an Agile brand stand out? I also talked earlier in this podcast about how brands have needed to become more complex. They started out as objects, as logos or names, quick things that were recognizable, and in a sea of only a few options, it was easy to stand out. But as those options increased, they needed to identify with an idea, something that identified that they could help solve a particular challenge that a customer had. As time went on, experience became more and more critical. With more and more options, it was not so much about just buying a product and taking it home or using a service once in a while. It was, how does that service make me feel? Is the experience good? Is it quick if it needs to be quick? Is it cheap if it needs to be cheap? Is it something that I would recommend to my friends? And then as time went on, it became more and more important that brands had a relationship, a realistic relationship, not a relationship like someone might have with another person, but a relationship that's based on trust, based on shared values, based on consistency, based on things that, based on the understanding that when a customer asks for something, they're going to get it. When a customer has a problem with something, they're going to find a solution from that brand. Cutting through the clutter means that a brand knows how to do this. They know how to target not just with keywords and demographic points, but they know how to target their customers because they know what the problems are that their customers have. They're able to identify not just what the problem is, but what the pain points are, what that problem makes someone feel. Maybe something very simple sometimes, but solving a very simple problem can go a long way. I remember a few years ago, Lowe's did a series of Vine videos that for some reason has stuck with me. 7-second videos on just quick things of how to fix things in your house, how to deal with a stripped screw, for instance. I'm not a particularly handy person myself, so maybe that's why these things resonated with me. But very quick things where I could get the gist of it. I wasn't going to necessarily Google and download a white paper on the topic of what to do with a stripped screw, but watching a 7-second video, they kind of understood me somehow. They understood that I didn't have a lot of time. The stakes were not necessarily high, but yet they solved my problem. Quick ways of understanding, cutting through the clutter. understanding that there's probably a million articles on a million different topics, but in that case, a quick video was all that was needed. Thanks for listening. See you next week. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please rate the show on iTunes or contact me through my website at theagile.world. You can find my books, The Agile Brand and The Agile Web, on Amazon and on my website at theagile.world.